Welcome. My name is Len Lane, and I am the founder and president of Brokers for Life, Inc., and we are Dominion Lending Centers in Western Canada. The topic of our podcast will be about what we consider to be real-life mortgage solutions. Welcome back. Episode 43. We want to give back to society some, other than, helping out on mortgage stuff. So we do support several local charities that are founded here and run locally. And one of them is Little Warriors. Some of you have heard me talk about it probably in the past. We have invited many of you to join us for the luncheon where we buy a table and try to introduce more people to what the good work that they're doing. But my guest today is Dr. Wanda Holman. So Little Warriors is one of the many local charities that we give money to every year. It's part of our overall culture, I guess, if you want to call it that. It's not funded by any federal or provincial monies. I think they got a little $50,000 this year, big deal, for the first time in a long time. 15 years, they have been out there helping children get through sexual abuse. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I just thought we'd, kind of let some extra people know about Little Warriors. Maybe give us some background on how it all started, and we can talk about where it's going. And unfortunately, we'll have to talk about why it's needed as well.
Sure, sounds good. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for bringing awareness to this topic. I know it's a difficult topic to talk about, but Little Warriors actually started over 15 years ago. Our founder, Glory Meldrum, herself had experienced abuse as a child. And so it was her goal to create a trauma-informed center that focuses on child sexual abuse. And the stats out there are that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys under the age of 18 will at some point receive or be involved in some kind of sexual assault.
Yeah, which is a staggering number, right? It's to me, it seems like it's in the news more and more every day. Something. Maybe we don't hear the actual stories, but of child pornography rings, things like that, obviously that's all part of the bigger problem as well, right? So let's maybe talk about some of your programs.
Sure. Little Warriors has several different programs. On one end of the continuum, we have a program called Prevent It. And Prevent It serves about 4,000 adults per year. The goal of the prevention program is just that, is to prevent child sexual abuse, bring awareness to adults who may not really understand how to recognize some of the signs and symptoms of child sexual abuse. So we have an in-person session. We have facilitators all across Canada that deliver the program in person, and it's about a 3-hour program, or anybody can take it online, and that's only about 90 minutes. So we talk a lot about the myths, we talk about the symptoms, we talk about for parents specifically and caregivers of children, how to recognize things that may be off. A lot of times, unfortunately, child sexual abuse offenders will groom the parents or caregivers prior to even having any involvement with the child, unfortunately.
Yeah, over the luncheons, we have heard some amazing stories. I can't remember his first name, but the singer from Great Big Sea, right? To hear how that, in what we should be considering the most trusted situation, turned into something that went to an extreme, to actually take it outside of the country and to have that after sexually assaulted in another part of the world, right? Which is crazy. The Be Brave Ranch. I've had the good opportunity to be out there 2 or 3 times. Strangely enough, kind of the relationship with Little Warriors began because one of your board members and I knew each other, and he put out something that said they needed lumber for a deck. So I said, well, that's probably not that big deal. So we donated the lumber for the deck, and it kind of grew from there. So Be Brave Ranch, obviously ongoing work. So what is happening there?
Yeah, so we have an intensive episodic treatment center. As far as we know, it's the only one of its kind across the world, actually. There's other trauma centers, there's other child mental health clinics and specialty services, but specifically for child sexual abuse, the Be Brave Ranch is right here in Alberta. And we do have children who come from all across Canada to our center. We have various modalities of therapy that we support the children and families who come there with. So we have individual therapy, group therapy, family therapy. We have equine assisted therapy, animal assisted therapy, art, music. So our goal really is to support the child and their caregivers where they're at and really build upon their strengths, build upon their resiliencies, and really support them through using evidence-based treatments. As you mentioned, Len, I'm so glad you brought this up, is we're really diligent about the funds that come in to support the children and teens and families. And so we actually have a resource committee, and our resource committee is built from folks in the community from various backgrounds, because we really do believe everybody has an ability to give and everybody brings value. And so, yeah, sometimes that's in lumber, sometimes it's in roofing, sometimes it's, helping us get the grass cut. We have 120 acres. And so we have a lot going on and 10 buildings to support the programs that we offer.
Right. And donations, right, of course, come in many shapes and forms. Quilts, so I understand, are a big one for you guys as well.
Yeah, we very much have people contributing in various ways. And one of those ways, we have a quilt room, and quilts come from all across Canada. So every time a child or teen comes for their initial round of therapy, we have episodes of care. So their very first round of therapy, they get to go to, we call it our quilt room, and it's a wrap them in love program where quilters will send quilts in so that the children and teens can have their brand new, specially made quilt for them during their stay, and then they take it home back to their communities. So it's really incredible how people in the community do and are able to come together and really, truly, I know we hear this all the time, but it really does take a village to put the programs together that we're able to offer at Little Warriors.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see how that and the beginning of Be Brave Ranch was always an interesting story, I thought, as well. Maybe give a little glimpse of how that happened.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, Glory Meldrum, our founder, had a vision to create a very specialized treatment center where children and families can come together and heal. We know that healing takes place in relationship. And I think that that's really, anyone who comes to the Be Brave Ranch immediately feels that when they come on site. So we started with a children's program about 11 years ago. And so the children's program offers programming for 8 to 12-year-olds, and they come for an initial round of therapy, and then they go back to their homes or communities for about 3 months, and then they come back for 12 days, and they go home for 3 months, and they do that 4 times. And the goal of that is to really support children and their caregivers to be able to build resiliency, learn new skills and strategies, understand their trauma, and continue to grow and build resilience. And so we know that it's easier to do that when there's a very therapeutic setting, such as the Be Brave Ranch, but it's sometimes more difficult when children and families are struggling in their own homes or their own communities for various reasons. And so we try to support them through offering transitional coordinators and supports even in between the rounds of therapy. So essentially, we support a child for over a year of their time with us. So from that children's program, we very quickly knew that we needed an adolescent program. And so we have an adolescent program for 13 to 18-year-olds. And then we have just continued to grow with an intensive family program. We know that the issues related to intergenerational trauma are often significant, and supporting the whole family offers, really a way forward in changing the trajectory of not only the family, but the child's life and what we believe is generations to come.
Yes, and that's a great segue into what you guys have announced lately, that the Building a Path Forward program.
Yeah, so we continue to work with a scientific and clinical council along with the University of Alberta. And so we have outcome measures and feedback that comes from our programming and within the community and other stakeholders. And some of the programs that we're looking at is really developing programming and potentially partnering with other stakeholders related to adult therapy. So not necessarily adults who have been sexually abused as adults, but adults who've been sexually abused as children. We've very often received information, and sometimes from parents of the children that we serve, is that they haven't received proper treatment from their perspective, or things that have really been helpful to specifically relate to the supports of their child sexual abuse trauma. And so we have done a scoping review and environmental scan, and we're looking at ways to support adults in it further. We're also looking at developing our animal assisted therapy programs. We have an equine program that we work with psychologists and others who have specific involvement with horses, but we also have 2 facility dogs, and our facility dogs are in collaboration with Dogs with Wings. But we're also looking at other animals because we know that sometimes the children and teens that we're working with struggle very much to have a relationship with adults. And so sometimes the segue of having a relationship with safe animals and that connection can continue to build the relationship forward with human beings in a safe way.
So no cats. I'm pretty sure cats don't qualify for that program. And that's interesting because my ex-brother-in-law was the executive director for Dogs with Wings for quite a few years, and we did quite a bit of work with them. But I'm so highly allergic that keeping a puppy in the house and stuff like that was not an option. So, what are some of the great ways that people can help? I know personally we support the yearly luncheon where we always have a team out to the golf tournament and things like that. That one on my score is not getting any better, so we're never going to win that one. But that means I don't have enough time to practice, which is fine. So what other ways? I see quite a list here. I see a book that you have written as well.
Yeah, I've written a couple of different books in conjunction with another psychologist, specifically relating to child sexual abuse concerns and issues. All of our information on that is listed on our website at littlewarriors.ca. But to your question about how people can support and help, there's so many different ways. We have an ongoing wish list on our website that changes. So, for example, as the weather gets colder, we often are needing boots and coats. And so when people are cleaning out their closets, we would appreciate that. We know that that's always a need. Golf tournaments, we have third-party events ongoing all the time. And so participating in those is great. Our luncheon is a big fundraiser for us as well. And usually that's in May. And so we appreciate folks like you who continue to support us in that way, because we really wouldn't be able to do the programming that we do without that. There's just ongoing opportunities too for people who have businesses and different products to join our resource committee. So like you said, sometimes we need lumber to build decks, but we also need volunteers to support us to do things like in the summer, cut grass and, help us clean the enormous amount of toys that we have to ensure that we're under licensing or we're meeting the licensing requirements. So I could go on, but I would just, really encourage people to check out the website, and anybody who's interested in coming out for a tour, definitely you can see it online, but when you're in person, it's very different and I think brings a better understanding.
And just the entranceway portion of it tells you how serious it is, right? So I think that's probably one of the biggest things that we saw out of it as well. That it's growing, it's always changing, and that's important, right? To keep it up to date. So yeah, and it's for the luncheon. We always have the goal of filling that table. And to fill it with new people every year. And so I think we're at 50 some people that we've introduced, and some of them have some pretty high level positions. Being in the mortgage industry for the last 20 years, we've met quite a few of the local VPs and stuff like that for the banks. So they are always at our table, and hopefully that expands out into their organizations as well. So. I see you have everything on your site, from obviously donate cash to donate a car. So that's interesting. You don't think about that one, but I guess that's always something that to be considered. The other thing I see on your site, and I saw it on another site this week for the first time, is the quick exit. I'm always, I guess that it is a feature that more and more of the sites like yours are putting in, so that if somebody is on there looking for something, that they can safely get out of there quickly, because it goes right to blank when you click on that. So that was a heart-touching thing to see that has to be there, unfortunately. Right? So, yeah. So new plans, new buildings, all that kind of stuff going on, I know, for you guys. So we continue, unfortunately, to grow and have to grow. The research out there since the pandemic has given us information that there's been about a 1,800% increase in online sexual abuse, specifically towards children. We know that there's, ongoing issues that are happening. Just even yesterday, there was a notification through the RCMP that there was a huge child abuse sexual ring found out with enormous amount of material. So unfortunately, these things are not slowing down. They are very problematic, and online just opens up so much more possible risk and safety concerns for children and families. Yeah, and that's like I said, it's almost become like it's steadily in the news. The good news is that brings some awareness, but the bad news is that it's still happening regardless of what is going on with trying to prevent it, right? So I think we'll leave it there. It's probably enough information. People will hopefully get to your website and check it out some more. I do appreciate your time this morning. I'm going to do a little extra part as well, as messed up the intro a bit because I stumbled over your name. But I appreciate your time, and I'm thankful that you're able to do this kind of work. So.
Yeah, thank you, Len. I appreciate all your ongoing support. Really appreciate this today as well. So hope you have a great day.
You too. Thanks, Mom.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for listening today. I hope you found the information that we provided to be useful in your mortgage journey. And remember, you can always find our associates at www.brokersforlife.ca/associates. Have a great day.